Stockfarm Bridge Campground.
Hey folks, Travis here from Tales of a Campground Host. I'm out here at Stockfarm Bridge Campground. We've been helping take care of this campground almost all summer, and I just realized we never gave you a walkthrough of it. What is up with that? So, why don't you come with and I'll give you a tour of the campground. Here we are at the Stockfarm Bridge self-service pay station. It's literally just as you come into the campground. And the one thing I want to point out right away is when you look at it, this campground has a group site, and it's $40 a night. It's not cheap, but there are always people that ask me, can we put 2 or 3 campers on a site if we pay extra? And the answer is always no. However, here at Stockfarm, you can. Stockfarm allows you for $40 a night to put more than 1 camper on a site. And speaking of the group site, there it is. That is site 8. The group site out here at Stockfarm. I do apologize for the wind. I'm hoping I'm doing a good job of covering up the microphone enough that you don't hear it. But if you do, I apologize. So, as I said, this is site 8. One of my things that I like about this site, if I were to use it for, say, a family event, is it has sun a good portion of the day, which is great if you generate solar like we do. Swinging back this way, again, we have the pay station, we have the well, the dumpsters are just off to the right from there as you come in. And making our way down, you can see Site 1 right over here. Site 1, you could get a small camper on if you wanted to. I think I would use this one primarily for a tent, primarily because it's a small site, it's not very deep. You know, I could get our camper in there, and then with the fire pit being around the corner by the picnic table, it would generate a buffer and some privacy from the big grassy area. But it's not a big site. To me, this is a tenting site, or maybe tie a hammock between, let's see if I can pull this off here, this red maple, or red pine, excuse me, and that red pine. So to me, this is a site that's great for your one-off, I'm spending the night, or, you know, a tent. I don't know that I'd put a camper on here. Site 7, this is a reservable site. Site 1 was not. And again, you could get a camper in here. You could actually get a camper in here a lot easier than you could get a camper onto Site 1. And the really cool thing, if you're skilled enough, is you could actually back up and around the corner. So this site actually gives you some privacy. It is next to the group site, so depending on the group, it may be a little loud. Nice deep fire pit, really deep. And it's got a new picnic table that I haven't seen many of these. This one, I'm hoping the Forest Service does this more often, being, I'm not even entirely sure what material that is, rubber-coated steel maybe? They don't have to replace boards. They don't rot. We'll continue on our way here. I should mention there are only 8 sites in this campground. It is on an ATV trail. The ATV trail itself does not come into the campground. However, my understanding is you are allowed to actually ride in this campground. This is one of the few. So it's kind of popular with people that like to ATV. Here's site 2. This one you could get a camper into. Again, it's a smaller site, but I could get our big camper in here. And there'd be enough room for us to have a nice quiet weekend. There is a trail back here that leads to the flowage. So you could go in fishing, stuff like that. And again, with some creativity, you could figure out how to hang a hammock in here somewhere. So that's site 2. The bathrooms are centrally located. Both pit toilets, you can see them through the trees up in here as we walk down towards site 3. There's one up in there. And another one up in there. Up over here we have site 3. I look at this site and I don't know how I would get a camper in here, because I want to show you something before we walk in. It turns, and you've got this balsam right here that you'd have a hard time getting your tow vehicle around as you try to swing, because you're not going to pull up this way and try and back around. You could probably pull it off. I think I would go the wrong way on the one-way up into here so that I could back straight and then make the swing. Again, I don't know that I mean, it's a good sized site. Very easily, once you get the camper in here, you have some privacy. Plenty of options if you wanted to hang a hammock in here. And again, we have a little path heading down to the flowage. We'll follow it just because we can. And then there's the flowage. I imagine the fishing down here would be fairly decent. I see some good moving water, some weeds. I bet you the fishing down here wouldn't be too bad. And that's right off of site 3. There's no lake here. There's no sites that have a beautiful view of the lake. They're all in the woods. But a couple of them have a little path that leads down to the flowage. Heading up to site 4. I should mention site 3 and 4 are both reservable. This is a little bit shallower site. I could still get our camper in it if I wanted to. Good hammock options again. And you can see there's a path that goes down to the flowage again. And the fire pit's off around a corner for some privacy. That is one thing I do like about this campground. Other than the big group site that has no privacy, you drive in, you could see the party. Pretty much everything in here has a good amount of foliage between the sites. I mean, that's site 4 to the right, here's site 5 over here. And there's a lot of foliage and trees and whatnot between the sites. Site 5 is non-reservable, nice deep site. Very easily could get my camper in here if I wanted to. And I see some options for hammocks if you wanted to put up a hammock. I do not see what looks like a established trail down to the flowage, but I believe the flowage is far enough off that you probably wouldn't see it anyways. Heading down to site 6. The final site in our journey today. You could get a camper in here if you wanted to. I think I would tent on this site because you've got a nice little private pad there tucked around behind the trees. But you could push a camper up in here if you wanted to. There's a path of some sorts heading down this way. I'm not sure what's down here that people would be going down here for. I honestly have no idea why people would be going down here. It's just a wetland, but there is a path down here. Might have to explore that sometime. And as we come out of 6, you'll see Site 3 again, which you may recall I said I think I would pull up towards 6 to back a camper in there. But that's it. We're on our way back to the entrance of the campground. It's a nice little campground. I mean, I would enjoy spending a weekend here. If I did ATV riding, I think I would be willing to spend a week or so here because it's right on the trail. Lots of nice red pine, good access to the flowage if I wanted to go fishing or float down the flowage. But that's it. That's the end of Stockfarm Bridge Campground. I hope you enjoyed this brief little tour, and hopefully helps you decide if you want to stay here or not, because that is some feedback that we've gotten lately, is that our videos have been helping people decide where to stay. This concludes our little tour of Stockfarm Bridge Campground. I hope you found it useful. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. If you didn't, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and tell me what I did wrong. Either way, until our next tale, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.